you didn't get your role or executive role on a silver plate, right?
No, not at all.
When did you first experience freedom, economical freedom?
Good question. Nobody asked me this question before.
I'm going to ask a question you're free not to answer. How much did you make from the whole internet thing?
I have recently invested heavily in a company called Godzilla. I don't know if you've heard about it yet.
Are you scared of artificial intelligence and robotics and where we're heading?
Not at all. I have invested in companies many times that I thought were great companies, and then I found out they were not that great. And I invested in companies that I didn't know what to expect, and they came out to be extremely good.
You started many businesses, invested in many businesses, heard a lot of pitches, privately and on Berytech, I believe. So you're the perfect person to ask, what makes a great entrepreneur?
We help entrepreneurs through programs that we have. Currently, we're running about 28 different programs. If you go to the website, you'll see all sorts of programs. And these programs are funded by the EU, USAID, and different donors that want to help Lebanon.
So it's a donor-based?
It's a donor-based program.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And you don't get any equity in return?
We don't get any equity in return. Okay. We employ today more than 100 people, 100 professionals in Berytech, who are at the service of all of these entrepreneurs. So the 28 programs. The yearly budget that we have is about $12 million.
Welcome back, everyone, to Titans in Tech. We've been on a short break. I've been preparing some very exciting stuff. I've been connecting with some of the most fascinating minds in business and technology. I'm constantly, if not daily, building a network of brilliant minds to have meaningful conversations on this podcast. Conversations that I hope inspires you to find your way in life, inspires you to solve a certain problem or to start something you've been afraid to start. Now, let me introduce my next guest. He has invested in nearly every single industry out there. He's the CEO and chairman of Berytech and Berytech Funds. He's the vice chairman and general manager of Medco, Lebanon's oldest importer and distributor of refined petroleum products. And if that's not impressive to you, he's the first guy that brought the internet to a whole country. I'd like to welcome in this episode Mr. Maroun Chammas.
Thank you.
Maroun, it's an honor to have you here. I'm a big fan of your work.
It's my pleasure.
I'm a big fan of your legacy. And like the list goes on and on and on. I didn't list everything that you've already done. So I want to start, in every podcast I do, I basically gather random data about the person, then categorize this data, and actually it gets categorized in a chronological order. So based on their career, when did they start until now. But in this case, I want to start from Berytech because I think that's something very interesting, that's something big happening here. So you were appointed the chairman and CEO of Berytech, one of the biggest startup accelerators, I think, in the MENA region 22 years ago by the head of USJ University, so St. Joseph University. Why did he choose you, and what was the qualities he was looking for?
Thank you, first of all, for the introduction. I'm very humbled. Thank you. You're starting from actually where you should finish, but it's okay. Yeah. We will go with the flow that you want. I was asked one day to come and visit and to come and meet the Père Chammas, who was at the time the head of the St. Joseph University. He passed away now. And at the time, I thought that he wanted to see me because IDM, which is one of the companies that also I am responsible of, I chair, was providing internet connection. So I thought that there was a problem with the internet connection at the university. And I went to my team and I asked them, is there any problem with the St. Joseph University? Because the rector wants to see me. And obviously, if he wants to see me, there should be a valid reason. There could be a problem. And they told me, no, there's nothing at all. So I didn't know what to expect. And then I went and I saw him. And, he spoke for half an hour. We were, discussing things, the situation, economic situation, the youngs, and so on and so forth. And then he told me, do you know about Berytech?
He already started Berytech at the time.
Yes, Berytech had already started.
Okay.
That was in 2004 when I saw him. And I told him, yes, I do know Berytech. I visited Berytech. I was actually a board member of IDAL, the Investment Development Authority of Lebanon. And I came to visit as part of a tour. There was the Malaysian government that was present in Lebanon. Yeah. And we were showing them a bit what we're doing in technology and so on. So I said, yes, I went and I visited Berytech. And he told me, well, I'd like you to head Berytech.
Okay.
And I told him, but why me? I am in several other businesses and I run several other businesses. He said, you've been recommended by several people I know and I trust. And they said that Berytech should have a person like Maroun Chammas. So I asked you to come and you came, and I'd like to propose you the seat as chairman, general manager, as the CEO of Berytech. So I said, give me some time because I need to think about it. I have already a lot of things on my mind and a lot of responsibilities.
Did you have the time to run another company?
Yes, so that was really my question. Do I have the time to run yet another company? And actually, especially that a place like Berytech is a moral responsibility on you.
Yeah.
No, you have at the end of the day a lot to do, and the mission, because the young people depend on you, the entrepreneurs depend on you, and so on. And a week later, he calls me up and he said, did you decide? I said, I'll come and visit you. And when I went and I saw him, I said,
you didn't decide yet.
I had not decided yet because I had so many other things to think about. Yeah. So I really had not decided. So it's I think one of the attributes of entrepreneurs. I was taken by the challenge. Yeah. And I had to come up with, some kind of answer to him. And I said, I'm very honored, if you give me this assignment, but I'll have to tell you, I'll be very honest. First of all, I cannot be a full-time person in Berytech because I have other responsibilities. The second point is that Berytech needs to be opened up for all universities. And the third point, it has to be the language that is practiced and that is used should be English, because it was all French at the time. And he said, the first point, I don't have a problem. So if you are a part-time person. The second point, definitely, it should be open to all universities and for all of Lebanon, for all the regions and so on. I have a problem with the third point. I said, what, the English language? He said, yes. He said, I don't speak English. So if you're going to turn everything into English, it's going to be a problem for me. I said, okay. Immediately I had the answer. I said, we'll do it like Canada. And he said, what do you mean? I said, in Canada, the two official languages are French and English. Yeah. So we will do everything in both languages. He looked at me, he smiled, and he said, I knew that you are the right person because you can find solutions to problems. And this is how it started. So I'm in Berytech. I'm elected by a board. Half of it is people that are named by the St. Joseph University, half of the shareholders, half of the board member. And the second half is people that are outside of the university. Okay. So, and the mandate is for 3 years, and I've been serving now, I think...
22 or 23 years?
So a very long time, 20 years.
I'm sure it has been a nice road or journey, but the thing is that Berytech is very known. So if you ask anyone about Berytech in Lebanon, they already know the name. But until a few weeks ago, I thought that Berytech is a venture capital until Emma, the head of communication here, told me that actually you're a non-profit organization.
Well, there are within Berytech, okay, there are several different companies. Okay, let me explain to you how we're structured.
Yeah.
You have, first of all, campuses. Okay, you have 3 campuses and the 4th one coming up in Amshit soon. But the last campus, the BDD one, we're closing it down because of the fact that, it's becoming very difficult to reach the area, to access the area. And, so we've decided to keep the campus, which is here at Uzib, in the Uzib campus, and the second one, which is in next to the museum, Beirut Museum.
Yeah.
And the third one will be opening next year, at the end of next year in Amshit. So we will have, again, 3 campuses. So this is one of the functions that we have. Why? Because it's very important when you want to help entrepreneurs to get to know them, to give them a space. And the space that we give them since 2004 is a space where they can work in all confidence, where all the facilities are there: internet, electricity, cleaning, security. So it is really an environment that is very simple for entrepreneurs. They don't need to complicate their lives with all the different administrative parts. That's the first function of Berytech, which is hosting of entrepreneurs. The second part is the acceleration. So we help entrepreneurs through programs that we have. Currently, we're running about 28 different programs. If you go to the website, you'll see all sorts of programs. And these programs are funded by the EU, USAID, and different donors that want to help Lebanon.
So it's a donor-based?
It's a donor-based program.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
And you don't get any equity in return?
We don't get any equity in return. Okay. We employ today more than 100 people, 100 professionals in Berytech, who are at the service of all of these entrepreneurs. So the 28 programs. The yearly budget that we have is about $12 million for the different programs. And the third part is the different the funds that we had. So we had Berytech Fund 1, Berytech Fund 2, and we have IM, which is in Insure and Match Venture and Insure and Match Capital, which are funds to help entrepreneurs. Now, the different funds serve different period of the life of Lebanon that we have witnessed the few years back. At the beginning, it was ICT, and today it is mostly into food replacement, agri-food, agri-tech, and things of that nature.
We're gonna talk about agri-tech. So if Berytech is an accelerator for startups, so startups could be accepted after being recruited to Berytech, and they spend a specific amount of time at Berytech. You help them with the location, with the resources, with strategy, and everything. I'm curious to know what is the difference between Berytech and Berytech Fund. So I believe Berytech Fund is a venture capital.
Yes, Berytech is a generic name. Okay, it's everything that goes under the programs, the hosting, the sites, and the funds. So this is the general name. Now, under each name and under each section, if you want, there are different companies, because you want to have separation between the programs that you do to help and support people and the funding, because the funding has a different mission, has a different perspective, has a different. So it's very different. The nature of the business is different.
Yeah.
So the funds, yes, they are under different names and different legal entities.
Okay, so I know that mainly entrepreneurs, if they want to join Berytech, they would join it and they will get a certain investment with no equity that should be given.
This is for the programs.
Yes. But for the funds, they will give equity in return for the investment.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me when will it be a good strategy to go with the program, and when will it be a good strategy to go with the funds?
Definitely, if you are a startup, you would want to go first with the programs.
100%.
Okay, so that you get the traction, you validate your model, you get to understand better how the business world works, you make a proof of concept, and so on and so forth. And then when you're mature enough as in terms of product or the service that you're offering, then you need funding. Then you go to the next level, which is, you talk to a fund manager, or you talk to to the investment committee.
So it's like the programs will give you money to create an MVP,
Absolutely,
to just start, and then you would need to go to the funds.
Yes.
Is there any startups that joined Berytech without going?
You can, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
This is okay. So you have many companies that go through the programs and don't want to get any funding for a reason or another, and you have many companies that go directly to the fund and don't join the programs.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be, the sequence doesn't have to be necessarily that way.
What is the process to join the programs in Berytech?
It's very simple. We have on our website different programs depending on the kind of business that you're looking for, or the area of interest that you have. So you fit into a certain category, and then you apply. You go through in front of a jury, and then you go through the process.
Okay. And what are some of the most successful companies that graduated Berytech that you know of?
We have many companies, really. We have companies in the food. We have company in the technology. So, for instance, we had a company that got funded by Merck that invented a process to coat the fruit and the vegetable with a special film to extend the life of the vegetable or the fruit. And this is used a lot now because, when you make transportation through a maritime, and you have, for instance, you reach a port, and you cannot enter the port because of bad weather. So you delay the ship has a problem in unloading the goods. So you get your product gets bad, gets rotten.
Damage.
So they have prepared a film that's coated, that is dissolvable, that is not harm for the human being, and it extends the life to 7 days, which is very important for insurance companies and maritime company. And one of the maritime company has invested into that company. And I can tell you of many other companies that were funded not just locally but internationally, and they were extremely successful.
What is the best company that graduated Berytech in your eyes?
Well, there are no really best companies. The best company is the one that
the most interesting for you
is able to succeed into going through the different process and the different time when it is fully mature, and it can actually sell its product into international markets, such as Roddy Tuner, that has, I don't know if you're familiar with the company, that has invented, first of all, a device to tune the guitars.
Yeah.
And then today it has invented a device that help people how to better play the guitar or the different instruments. So that's why it's like a coach using AI. So this is, for instance, one of the companies in the technology, and we have many other companies in the field of technology or even food substitution. Today we have helped into bringing more than 300 companies into food substitution, because, as you remember, after 2019 there was an issue with the currency, Lebanese currency, and an issue with the purchasing power, so that a lot of product that was imported was not affordable anymore. So thanks to the efforts of Berytech and the, if you want, the new vision that we had, we were able to help many companies into the food processing and into food technology to create substitute for products that were previously imported.
Okay.
And today, when we do showcases, we do that on a yearly basis. we keep on adding to the number of companies that produce in Lebanon food with a different twist. I can give you, for instance, example of different taste of hummus, different taste of labneh, and the interesting part is not that they're creating labneh, because labneh exists since ages, labneh or hummus. But the interesting part is how they package it. For instance, they put it with crackers, or they have the different taste, labneh with za'atar, labneh with zaytun mixed in already. So these are all new products and services that are catering for not the Lebanese people, but for the Lebanese and the international community. And the packaging itself,
Are
the
they
way
selling
that,
outside Lebanon?
of course, many of them are selling outside of Lebanon,
Europe, in the US.
in the US and in the Gulf and Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Do you have any unicorn company?
We have close to unicorn companies. We had a company in education that started in Berytech that was purchased by a British company, and it is a company to help people learn Arabic much faster. So it was purchased by a UK company, and we have others as well.
So you started many businesses, invested in many businesses, heard a lot of pitches privately and on Berytech, I believe. So you're the perfect person to ask, what makes a great entrepreneur?
What makes a great entrepreneur, I think, is the capacity to listen, the capacity to adapt, the capacity to always improve. That makes a perfect entrepreneur. And a perfect entrepreneur, in my opinion, is someone that has his feet on the ground, but always aim for the sky. This is very important. An entrepreneur, when he starts his business, he is a one-man show at the beginning, okay? Because not many people, he cannot, first of all, afford to pay a lot of money.
Of course.
But then when other people, when investors see that he has potential, they're going to rally around him and they're going to start believing in his story. So that's the first point.
So the personal story of an entrepreneur matters for the investor.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you don't have passion, if an entrepreneur doesn't have passion,
how do you show passion?
It's you show passion by talking about the subject, okay, and by living it really. So it strikes you when you have a good story to tell. The way you say it in front of a jury or in front of a possible investor makes the whole difference. So we call it the elevator pitch. You have to, within 2 minutes, explain really what you're doing and what you want to do and what your goal is. So if you can catch the attention of the investor, if you can catch the attention of the audience, then automatically you have traction, you have the emotion that kicks in. Because, when you are in front of an audience or a jury or an investor, before talking about numbers and before talking about, what you want to do, you have to show really that you are understanding exactly and that you are dedicated to what you want to do. Otherwise, it doesn't fly.
Yeah, and what does it take to take that first leap of starting a business?
It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of perseverance. It takes a clear and focused mind. That's very important. And many people, they fail. Let's say they don't achieve their goal because they all over the place. So they start with something, and then along the way, they see that there are other things easier to get, or revenue easier to get. So they go after the easy revenue, and they lose focus, and they lose their goal. So this is definitely something that you don't want to do, losing your goal.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. I think I've made this mistake already, so I can relate to that. What is the toughest business decision you have ever made? the decision to take the seat as the CEO of Berytech?
No, of course not. The toughest decision, I think, is the decision when you have to realize that some of the business that you undergo has no chance of being a success. And then you have to
abandon.
You have to kill it. You have to say, okay, this is not going to work. Okay, so let's not pour good money after bad money. Let's put an end to it. And this is the toughest decision.
At which stage most of the entrepreneurs realizes that?
Some never realize, and they end up going into sunsetting. You know, the sun when it sets down. So shui, it goes gradually. It goes down. So they run out of money. So they start making the team smaller and smaller and smaller. They start cutting on many things, and then they just keep it as a candlelight, and this is the worst thing that they can do. And I always,
it's a waste of time.
Exactly. I always tell to entrepreneurs when they reach that point, don't worry. It's okay to fail.
It happens.
You have to accept that, and you have to learn from your failures, and then go back to the drawing board. If you don't have the money, if you want to go work for a company for a while, just to get your thoughts together and so on. But don't à tout prix, I want to absolutely have this work. Because, if it's not going to work, if the market is not there, if the conditions are not there.
Is it fear of missing sometimes?
Fear of missing?
On something?
You have people that have the fear of missing. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, you have that.
Do you believe in this sleep in the garage thing to start the business, or do you...
Not just I believe in it, I practice it.
Okay.
You don't have success without pain. You don't have success without spending white nights. You don't have success without crying and bitching and, sometimes getting totally frustrated. This is part of the cycle.
Part of the journey.
But it's part of the journey. But you have to adapt. You have to reinvent yourself. You have to accept things. That's the way things go.
There's a lot of entrepreneurs or business people that says that they need to have a stable job, start a certain business, and then gradually stop their job and go full time. And there's other people that I met, and they're very successful people in the Gulf area that says no. As soon as we saw an opportunity, we've cut everything, every job we have, and go all in. So what type of people are you?
In general, there is not one size fits all. Each one has a different, particular approach, particularity, character, and so on. So there are a combination of things. You can never really say that this is a universal rule, because people are born differently, they face things differently, they approach things differently, and this is a dynamic environment. So there is no one sentence that can resume it and summarize it.
Do you believe in luck? I personally believe
definitely
that
luck is part of it.
Do you believe in it?
Of course.
I personally believe
luck is not the whole thing.
Yeah, I believe
you cannot
create our luck. So it's not given to us.
You can stir the luck somehow. You can give it a certain turn. But definitely luck plays a role. Because I have invested in companies many times that I thought were great companies, and then I found out they were not that great. And I invested in companies that I didn't know what to expect, and they came out to be extremely good because there was some kind of luck into the process.
Mark Cuban says that you can do $1 million, $10 million, or even $100 million with hard work and the right people, determination. But to make 1 billion, you definitely need a huge amount of luck. Do you agree?
Amount of luck?
Amount of luck.
Yeah, amount of luck. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree that luck plays a lot. I agree that luck is part of the parameters that can make something a success. But I also agree in hard work. I also agree in a good team. I also agree in choosing the right people around you, and listening a lot. A lot of people don't listen. They think they know it all, and actually they don't. And this is one of the virtue of being a successful entrepreneur, is listening.
How important is networking for entrepreneurs?
A lot, super important, because networking gets you to customers, gets you to suppliers, gets you to venture capital, gets you to tell about what you're doing, and about how to do it better as well.
How do you get better at networking?
First of all, you need to be someone that likes people.
Can you learn it? And
can you? Of course. You can learn everything.
Okay.
In life. Everything you can learn. But it's not, it's not like opening a book is good. Okay, it's a good start. But practicing it is better even. Because, it's all about the difference between us and robots is the human being has something called sentiments, has feelings. Emotions, yeah, that robots don't have.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to beat people, or if you want to beat robots, you have to have this emotional, you have to bring it up. You cannot just keep it down and low. Emotion is very important into doing anything. And
to anything.
Yes, of course, but not blind emotion. You have to have the right amount of everything to be successful. I don't believe in extreme people as well. Extreme people will get you to a successful venture, but can also destroy a successful venture.
Destroy it.
They can destroy it, absolutely. WeWork, for instance. I don't know if you know the story of WeWorks.
Not really.
Okay, watch the series, and they talk about it. And the guy was extreme, super intelligent, super doer, and everything else. But he was such an extreme that he ended up losing everything.
Okay, so you were the first guy, as I already said, that brought the internet to Lebanon. It looks like you were early to this technology, as we said.
Yeah.
You were early to a certain revolutionary technology to the whole world. And I'm sure you made a lot of money out of it. Are you early to anything else? Were you early to any other technology?
Lots of them.
Really? Like
I have a room full of technology stuff that I buy. 90% is useless, I can tell you that, and 10% is useful. But you have to try everything, and you have to, for instance, I bought, for instance, suitcases that you can sit on and drive into an airport.
Yeah.
But I found it totally useless. Yeah, it's fun, but it's not really useful.
Do you test these?
That's yeah. Of course, I test everything. I like, because I'm a
See the potential.
I like to try out things. But I tried, for instance, I think it was 6 or 7 years ago, a technology of a padlock cabinet. Okay, and it turned out to be a great technology, and I invested into that company. I made a lot of money because they exited a year later. I mean,
What they Lebanese?
No, they're not Lebanese. They're American. It's called Noke, Noke, and that was a great technology that we use today in Medco for our tank lorries, for our tank trucks. And it happened to be a great technology. The people that invented it were actually never used it for what I used it.
Oh, never.
They used it for just the storage facilities.
It looks like it was for another purpose.
For another purpose.
Okay.
And when I saw it, I said, this could be used for the technology that is of interest to me. And then I placed an order, and then I placed a big order. First of all, I bought two units, and I took them and I tested them in our environment. So we tried pouring gasoline on them. We just to see what's if they can survive, the test and so on.
The roughness.
And the roughness of the environment, and and banging them, throwing them, and so stuff like that. So it happened that it worked well, and then I placed a big order, and then I received a phone call, and the guy on the other end was calling from the States, and he tells me, "You just placed an order for 600 units of padlocks." I said, "Yes." What's the problem? He said, "We want to verify. We want to make sure it's not a scam."
Yeah, is it?
Why? It's in Lebanon. Where is Lebanon? We saw that it's Lebanon, Lebanon. I mean, the company is in Utah, in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I said, "Yes, it is for Lebanon." And who's talking? I said, "I'm the I'm the person responsible." And I said, "You can check on the website." So, and he comes back and he says, why do you want to use them for? And I told him why I want to use them for. And he said, "Do you mind? I'm going to Egypt for vacation with my wife. How far is Lebanon from Egypt?" I said, "It's just 1 hour by plane." He said, "Do you mind if I come and visit you? Because I'm interested to see how you're going to use them." And then he came, the owner came, and then he really liked what we're doing. And he asked me if I can,
invest.
First of all, send his crew and give a testimonial, because it was not at all in his line of business. And I said, yes, with pleasure. And then I ended up investing in his company, and he ended up selling his company a year later. And I made six times the investment.
Wow.
So that was really a nice thing. So I was lucky, he was lucky.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Looks like you have an eye for technology. So if you have a certain technology, a certain product, you know where to fit it, how to use it.
I think I have the curiosity, first of all, to try out things. So people don't have always the curiosity. You have to be, you have to really invest and be, to see what will this do? Can I use it? Is it useful? And so on.
Okay. Going back to Berytech, I just have one of the last questions about Berytech specifically. When a certain company gets accepted to a certain program, is there a fixed amount of money that they get, or it depends really on the product? And
it depends on the program. Certain programs we give out up to $200,000. Okay. So certain programs we don't. It depends really on the program and the nature of the business itself.
How can an entrepreneur find these programs? There,
all the information is on the website.
Okay,
Berytech.org.
Perfect. So I just want to play kind of a certain game with you now.
Okay.
I think the most fascinating skill for me as entrepreneurs is that entrepreneurs are able to explain a complex subject or a complex theorem or anything complex in a very simple way and in a very fast way. So that's a section I call in 30 seconds.
Okay.
Where I'll give you topics.
I hope I will not fail.
You can take some time. You can take some time to prepare.
Let's see.
Okay, I'll take you a subject.
I'm not good at games, but let's try it out.
I want you to explain it in 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
5 seconds less, 5 seconds more. That doesn't really matter. So, the first question would be, how do you evaluate a business?
Okay. Evaluating a business is very simple. Okay, there are two methods. First of all, it's either how much the person has invested and you give him a premium over it, okay? And the time he has put in. So that's one way. And the valuation is what this business can, on the long term, if it's a startup, how much this business, what is the market, and what are the possibilities. So this is how you evaluate the business. But basically, the easiest rule is how much money, and then you say, okay, I'm going to pay a premium for that.
Okay. Second question. what is the difference between a private equity firm and the VC, venture capital?
Venture capital is someone that is ready to, it's the first step. It's someone that is ready to invest with you based on an idea or early stage. Okay, private equity comes at a later stage.
What do they do actually in private equity?
They do the same, but already there is, the company has already traction,
Okay.
they have sales and so on.
Talking for bigger amounts.
Yes.
Perfect. Let's jump to a technological question. How can you explain AI in 30 seconds?
So AI, basically, it's loads of computer that you fed information to, and then you ask a question and they go through the algorithm to give you an answer.
Perfect. Last question. What is a MVP, minimum viable product?
The MVP is whenever you're starting a business and you need to do a proof of concept. It's also called the proof of concept. So if, for instance, you have, let's say, a software, okay? So you're going to do, first of all, what the software is going to look like and what is the output it's going to give. So that's one thing. If it's a product, a physical product, it's a maquette, a demo of that product and what it can do with a small mock-up of that product.
Perfect. So I thought you'd take some time to prepare, but actually you were born prepared.
Yeah, these are the questions I need.
We can do one more.
I thought you were going to ask me on how we use technology, for instance, in businesses like Medco.
Let's do that. How do you use technology in a petroleum or oil and gas business like Medco?
All right. In more general terms, okay, technology is at the center of every business now, okay? And this is probably something that the Lebanese are still a bit behind because they feel that technology is just the computer, the email,
yes,
the accounting, and so on. Whereas technology should be at the center of any business because data mining and a collection of behavior, customer behavior, collection of customer information, knowing what the customer wants, knowing the reaction of the customer will prepare you to build the second product and will differentiate you with the company, with your competitor. So technology, for instance, at Medco is at the center of what we do. How? We make things simple for the customer. We're one of the few companies that have a full-blown app so that you can order online, get your car washed online, get your diesel online, any information, you can find it there. And then when you go to the station, many people don't know that our stations are equipped with not just meters, counter, when you pump gasoline.
Yeah.
It's all related to the time, the nozzle, and the camera so that if someone comes and say, they did not fill properly for me, we can automatically go and check the camera, check the time, and pull a report to know exactly how much that person has been dispensing into the tank. So that's just an example. But then, we are using more and more technology to attract the customer by providing, fidelity points, by providing better service, by providing a better experience altogether at the station.
Is there any type of business or any industry that can survive without technology at these times?
None. And I can tell you that even with today, companies will survive, but companies will do better with technology and AI especially. And AI is a very broad word.
Yeah.
You really need to understand how to use AI. Okay?
Of course.
Because
of AI, sorry, I've got you. Speaking of AI, our web was first invented as the Web 1.0, and then we got the Web 2.0, which is the interactive web. the scientists have predicted right that the Web 3.0 would be the web of AI models that would be integrated into our browser. So the picture wasn't really clear, but I think that it's clearer and clearer now. But some people calls the Web 3 as the web of the decentralized web, the web of blockchain, cryptocurrency, and all of this stuff. How do you see Web 3.0? As the AI web or the decentralized web?
A mixture of both, I would say. It's going to be both depending on the businesses and the use of the end user, how he wants to use that. Definitely.
You already invested in cryptocurrency?
To tell you honestly, no. I have not. Not, because still I don't understand how it functions.
You never traded stocks?
I trade stock, but not cryptocurrency.
Is it the kind of a related concept or not really?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know, I understand how it works, but I'm still uneasy with that.
You told me that you are curious about a lot of things. You were never curious about the crypto.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe you should tell me how.
Yeah, sure. I think people are a bit afraid of crypto after NFTs and this huge pool of cryptocurrencies. So people see it sometimes as a scam. Do you agree or not?
I have no opinion really, because I did not put my mind to it so far.
Okay.
And I know it's a weak point that not to have done that, especially that I'm in technology. But I've been doing so many other things in technology that it's okay.
Yeah.
I can accept that.
Yeah. So we spoke about the internet and you bringing the internet to Lebanon as the first person, you and your brother.
Yeah, this is part of the luck.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. We didn't know that. Yeah. We didn't know, honestly speaking, and we discovered it while working with providing the service and so on. We started to understand what it is really, and the most important part is that we grew with it. We knew how to grow with it, with the internet, and because we were an early entrant and early adopters, we were lucky enough, so we were able to grab a big market share.
What is the technology you are currently most interested in?
I think what SpaceX is doing, and the second generation of communication. I am now working on investing in a new technology, actually, that I cannot really speak about now. But basically, it could be a game changer. It will take another 5 years to develop. I can tell you about it.
Robotics?
No. It's not robotics. Actually, you might know about it, but I'll tell you about it later.
Sure, of course. Maybe we can do a round 2 whenever you've made 6 times what you invested in.
Yes,
hopefully.
We're working right now. We've presented a term sheet, and we need another probably 1 month to close the deal. If we close the deal, then I'll tell you about.
Best of luck with that.
Thank you.
Let's go back a bit to Medco. Medco is a family-owned business, right? And which is the oldest importer, as I said in the introduction, and distributor of quality refined petroleum products in Lebanon. So what was your initial role in Medco? I know that you studied engineering and you had your MBA in the States, and then you came back to Lebanon. What was your initial role there?
Well, I started working at Medco at the age of 12.
Oh, really? At 12?
At 12, filling gasoline cars and washing cars. And I'm grateful that I did that, because I learned the business from scratch, from the from the hard way, but from the beginning. So because I believe that in any business that you want to work, if you don't understand the basics, you can't really understand the people who are working into that business. So there's no point, and their needs, absolutely. The needs of the pump attendant is different than the need of the accountant, and different from the needs of the manager, different from the need of the truck driver, and different from the need of the person that supervises the loading of the truck. So this makes it all the company that you know today. So if you know well how the company is structured, if you know how to run the business, then you can address the problem when you have a problem. And so this is how I started, and I had fun because I was learning and I was getting tipped when I used to clean the glass as well. Yes, this is how, and this is how I used to make pocket money when I was a child. And then, in the summer I used to work back in the station, and then I went to the terminal where I learned a lot. Climbing up on top of the tank, going into the vessels.
Like you didn't get your role or executive role on a silver plate.
No, not at all. I started when I finished my engineering and my MBA. I started as a working at the terminal, and then when I was I had enough of experience. Then they give me a second role and the third role and the fourth role. You have to distinguish between an employee, a manager, and an owner. It's very different. In Lebanon, we tend to confuse everything. Okay, he's the son of the owner. Okay, it's not the son of the owner. You can be a shareholder, you can be doing something else, or you can be in the business of the family. But if you want to really succeed, you need to understand and start gradually. And actually, before even joining, I went and I did a training in a facility in Australia for 6 months. Okay. So this is after my degree. After my degree, I went and I did the training for 6 months in Australia.
6 months?
6 months, yes. When
did you first experience freedom, economical freedom?
Good question. Nobody asked me this question before. I experienced my economic freedom after the internet. After I invested in internet with data management. It was like 4 years after I started the internet.
4 years after that.
Yeah.
I'll ask you a question.
I was able to offer myself
a Ferrari.
No, not a Ferrari. I never bought a Ferrari.
Okay.
Although I like cars, I was able to offer myself a nice car.
Your car?
It was an Audi.
Okay. RS?
No, not RS. It was a V8.
R8?
V8. V8,
okay.
Yes.
I'm going to ask a question you're free not to answer. How much did you make from the whole internet thing?
It's not that I don't want to answer. It's I keep investing. So there is not really a particular number that I can tell you. But I keep on investing in companies, in startups, in new technologies, in payment online, in many things. So it is a bit, if you want, awkward because almost 80% of what I do, I reinvest, which I think
that's
is
your
a bit
way,
much.
Or that's how a successful entrepreneur should be?
No, it doesn't really need to be a successful entrepreneur. You can invest as much as you want. But I think I like challenges, as I told you. So, and I like to test new grounds, and certain things don't work. It doesn't mean that in every company that I invest, I make money. For instance, now I have recently invested heavily in a company called Godzilla. I don't know if you've heard about it. Yeah.
Godzilla. So is it a new investment?
It's a fairly new investment. It's been almost 3 years now. Yeah, and I keep investing in it.
Looks like something interesting.
You know about it?
Yeah, of course I know.
It's the delivery platform.
Yeah.
You like it?
Never used it, honestly.
Well, you should.
I see the name on the roads.
Yeah.
It seems like something interesting.
Okay. You need to try it out.
Of course.
Encourage me.
are you scared of artificial intelligence and robotics and where we're heading?
Not at all.
Not really.
No. Because on the contrary, artificial intelligence is made to help companies, not to. Why would I be scared?
But people always tend to use technology in a harmful and diabolic way. Don't you think?
Not in my case.
Not really.
No, not in my case.
Are you watching the progress of the large language model and generative AI, the understanding and the intelligence of these models is something extraordinary, never seen before?
Yeah, I can. I mean, yes, I understand, why you're saying that. But I think that at the end, humans, unless you are totally, you're looking at the wrong side and the evil side. Technology is made to help people mostly, not to harm people or not to destroy. Obviously, certain people will try to use technology to destroy others, but I think there remain a minority of these people. The technology mostly, people use technology for the good of human being, and let's put it that way. Suppose that today we decide not to use technology anymore. Who will suffer mostly?
Everyone.
So obviously,
but
you have to accept that certain people will use technology in a bad way.
Yeah.
And you have to combat things. It's like the same thing for anything. You can always use some of the things for the bad reasons and for the bad things. But let's say the good always prevails. I'm a positive person and I believe that good always prevails.
Engineers believe that they would be replaced by AI. Do you believe so?
Certain functions of engineering, yes, absolutely. And robots will replace certain people. But for instance, I look at the good side of the replacement. Look at, for instance, bombs and fires and stuff like that. If you send a robot in a place where there is fire, okay, you are not putting at risk a human person.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the good side.
Yeah.
Okay. If you use it for the bad things, obviously not. It's not good.
Okay. It's been a wonderful conversation. I have so many questions that could be asked.
I hope I've answered the majority.
It was a really, really joyful conversation, meaningful conversation. I hope we can make a round 2 sometime. But I think I'll stop here for this episode. Thank you so much. It was an honor.
Thank you.
With you.
Thank you. Thank you for you and for all the teams. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Maroun.
Thanks.